Is it just kind of like just go with it and then?
Yeah, man, just talk away. Just act like you're having a conversation with me. It's nothing.
All right.
Nothing different. Just have a conversation, sort of thing. All right then. Hi guys, welcome back. This is the Curiosity Complex with me, Nat. Today I have a fantastic guest on. I can't wait to learn more about what he does, because I'm actually really interested in what you do. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Decland, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. My name's Decland. I'm a personal trainer in Liverpool. I know Nat from studying sports science with him at Bangor University. We're the survivors from that.
Yeah.
So I currently work as a personal trainer in JD Gyms in Liverpool. I have my own business there, and I like to help people who maybe lack the kind of support or the kind of just that ambiguity of where am I going or what am I doing in the gym, like what are my fitness goals, health problems and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, my specific kind of area of expertise is working with those with maybe a clinical background, or those who may struggle with like kind of like diabetes or COPD or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nat, you did the same sort of course, so you took some of the same sort of things from undergrad and stuff like that. And so yeah, I've tried to turn that into personal training and how I can help those who have that sort of those sort of diseases and things in a more kind of applied setting.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, what kind of what was the inspiration behind that? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Cool. So what was the sort of inspiration behind that?
I suppose it's even when I started my degree, I still knew like this was an avenue I wanted to go down. Getting in the gym yourself, and when I first started the gym, I was about 15. Didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't have any guidance. Just kind of went in there, do what every 15-year-old lad does: work your arms, and get all the good fancy muscles.
Yeah.
But then one day you get injured, and you start to look a bit more into it, and you realize, oh crap, there's a lot behind it, and anatomy and all things like that. So that's how I kind of got into the whole realm of sports science and health and exercise science and things like that. And so yeah, I just I never had anyone who kind of who could support me in that situation.
Yeah.
I know how like annoying it was when you wanted to go to the gym and something like that, but you couldn't, or you wanted to train with like rugby at the time, but you couldn't because you had an injury. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't know if you were helping it or not. So I suppose it's just to kind of gain clarity and to help others now gain clarity on what they're doing and to kind of set them up in a bit of as a starting position than I was put in originally.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, that's really cool. So you work in Liverpool.
I do.
And you have your own business, which is kind of pretty much the same route that I plan on going down.
Okay.
With the sports psychology. So how have you found like getting clients and things like that? Has that been a difficult journey?
Yes, actually. It's something that no matter how much you know about anatomy or any kind of biomechanics or anything like that, business is a complete different realm. Like none of the courses, not the undergrad we did or the extended like level 3 personal trainer course or anything like that, none of it kind of prepares you for the whole business side of it. This is how you interact with people. This is how you pick up clients, because the whole thing around this is most of the time you have to pick up the client. You have to go speak to someone, develop a bit of a relationship with them, develop that rapport between them, and in a kind of sense, get them to be interested in what you can offer. You've got to kind of put yourself on show and on offer as to, I can help you with this if you want it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole different kind of business side of it. And obviously when you first start, no one kind of gives you the whole, just things like where I tripped up was like the whole paperwork thing and what do you need to have done? You got to sort of you're self-employed now, you've got to do your taxes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And even things like before you even get people training, they may have already an injury or something like that. Well, they need to go to the doctor and get a form signed so that they can actually exercise.
Yeah.
And then you've got informed consent forms, Park U forms. Are you ready to exercise? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those aren't readily kind of given to you. You've got to kind of go out there and figure out how you do all that. You've got to put all that together as a process and then go, okay, so from the moment someone comes in here and says, I want a personal trainer, you've got to have that whole process of, you don't just go, okay, great, go jump on a bench and I'll be with you now in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a whole process of how you do it.
Yeah.
And you don't really get prepared for that at all. It's just something you have to kind of, you can ask other trainers and stuff like that, how they do it. Everyone does it completely differently. But yeah, there's loads of different ways of doing it. And you just kind of have to learn how to put your own spin on things.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like clients and picking up clients and stuff, it's just about, I suppose there's tons of different ways, but the main thing I think is just kind of talking to people. You've got to build relationships with people, or just saying hi to them when they walk past and stuff. You've got to be in the gym, on the gym floor, walking around, talking to people, kind of showing off a bit of what and how you can help someone, because right now all they see is they just see you, and if you're big, small, if you look in shape or out of shape, they are going to judge you on those things, but they don't, you could have a PhD in kinesiology for all that, and you've got to actually kind of express that to them. You could have a degree in sports science, first class, or anything like that, but they don't know that. So you've got to kind of tell them why they need you in a way. That's the whole kind of business and the whole kind of selling aspect of it. Sure, it can be a bit cynical at times, a bit like, you need me because I can help you. But really, like there is a bit of a, like I do want to help people. I do love it when you see someone come back and they've gone, oh, I've lost weight, or instead of eating 4 chocolate cookies today, I only had 2. Little things like that. Like success isn't, for some people, it's literally just a matter of, oh, I chose the salad when I went out for dinner tonight, or I ate some dessert and I don't feel guilty about it. It's those little small wins which are going to keep people on track, and which is also going to help your business.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Well, you actually raised a really good point there, because I follow quite a few PTs on Instagram and things like that, and one of them did a series of Instagram stories that was talking about how, like, you are, like you mentioned it, you are, when the person first walks into the gym and sees you and they see that you're a personal trainer, the kind of your appearance is what the results they can expect almost.
Yeah, well, that's their first judgment of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's like the whole thing of, could you have an obese PE teacher? Like, well, yeah, loads of them are, but could you have an obese personal trainer? They might look at you and their like kind of subconscious bias would you almost look at you and think, and to be fair, through experience, like the most successful in terms of like business wise personal trainers I know, just from kind of thing, they all look the part. Female wise, they have the curves in the right place, sort of thing, as what society would kind of deem now. And with the males, like there's typical broad shoulders, narrow hips, low body fat, and like whether that's to do with, it's just like subconscious perception of, oh, if they look like that, something clearly works. What they're doing clearly works.
Which is, and it is interesting because I mean, a lot of people listening probably haven't seen you in person. How tall are you? Like 6'3"?
Yeah.
I'm so good at guessing height. Oh my god.
6'3" and 3/4 actually.
Every time. Sorry about that. That's 6'4". Like I'm 5'7.5", so I call myself 5'8".
You've got a little measuring stick in your head, haven't you, mate? You just
yeah, absolutely. If you don't, you're missing out. The amount of times I've said someone's height and they've gone, yeah, that's it. I'm just maybe I should make a career out of guessing people's heights.
Absolutely. You could put some bets on it,
That is definitely a business opportunity right there.
There we go.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the kind of, it interests me because you're a big dude, and I would think it actually surprised me when you first said, you work with people that in a more kind of clinical background. Because
Mhm.
I'd expect you to be attracting clients that are trying to get as big as you, sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
a bit. I wouldn't say it threw me, but I was a bit. It just kind of it's really interesting to me that you work with. I'm guessing the population you work with are often older.
Well, that is my specialty. My specialty is, if someone came to me and they said, I've got COPD
Yeah,
and osteoporosis or something like that, bam. I'd be very confident in training that person.
yeah,
You need kind of special kind of qualifications and special kind of personal characteristics to be able to kind of, develop a plan around someone with these kind of physical limitations.
yeah,
So that's an area I do like to specialize in.
yeah,
However, the majority of the people I currently train, um, they don't have any kind of chronic disease or anything like that. It's just for the sake of it is a specialty, and it is an area I could go down. But right now, just because of where I am in the gym I'm situated, it's mid city center. You
yeah,
don't really get a lot of people who have chronic diseases like that, which are associated with kind of, like being elderly or something like that.
yeah,
Like most of mine, because of where the gym is situated, it's very kind of corporate based people. We get a lot of lawyers, we get a lot of doctors, we get a lot of paralegals, things like that come in.
yeah, yeah,
And a lot of those they're quite healthy. They might have a previous injury or something like that. And that's something I can help with. But no, if someone did come to me and said, I've got a type 2 diabetes or COPD, there would be a little part of me going like, yes, I can help you, sort of thing,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
to finally put, what we learned in our degree and the added extended qualifications onto that. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right. Well, how about you take us through a day in the life of a PT?
Okay. I just want to kind of put a disclaimer out there that this is it varies massively. It
Yeah,
can be anything from or PTing. I suppose I've got to give a bit of a general guide to what it is in terms of you can be self-employed or you can be employed. So you can be
yeah,
employed by the gym where they pay you a salary every year.
yeah, yeah,
However, they're very rare. They'll only be in companies like Nuffield and things like that.
yeah,
I'm self-employed. This is where most of your pure gym PTs, JD gyms, other gyms like that. Most PTs, probably about 90% of them, are self-employed, like myself. So
yeah,
you do choose your hours of when you book clients in, but then you also have to provide hours or payments to the gym to kind of allow you to train there. Same way if you were to go and use someone's garden, they'd probably be like, well, you're using my facilities, you need to pay us something for it.
yeah, yeah,
So typical day, for example, during the week, I tend to work Monday to Friday. I will work the occasional Saturday as well,
yeah,
just because weekends, there's a whole load behind the scenes stuff. Like there's the paperwork, there's the programming, there's like the support and making sure people are, like staying on track to it.
yeah.
I'd say kind of getting to the nitty gritty of day in the life. Wake up about 5:45 if it's one of the long early days.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'll get to the gym at 7. I'll train with a client then till 8. Usually between 8 and 9 or 8 and 10, I'll be free. So, because most people are going like they're at work at that point. So I will train myself. I usually like to take my time.
yeah,
Sometimes, depending on the time, I usually take my time. I'll take a good like hour when I train, if not longer. Like the sauna, shower, food. All ready for about 10. I'll do some programming. I'll do some reading. I'll catch up and stuff till about 11. 11, then we start getting lunchtime people coming in the gym. So if I don't have clients at lunchtime, I will just market myself. I'll be around the gym. I'll be kind of like, the friendly face. I'll be trying to offer advice where I can,
yeah.
which is something I could go talk to about for about an hour.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But people don't accept advice unless they want it, sort of thing. So you can't force knowledge on people. You have to, if they ask for it, fine, I'll give it. But I'm not going to go up to someone and go, you're doing that completely wrong. It's
That must be difficult though. That must be so difficult because
it is because you see some people doing things and you think, crike, I can feel your bones breaking, but
yeah,
like you kind of have to hold it back unless they come to you, then that's it. So yeah, lunchtime then, I'll market myself. and then afternoon I might have a few clients, and then evenings vary. Usually most people want PTing after 5 o'clock because they finish after 5. But if you've been in early in the morning doing early morning clients, I don't particularly want to be there for 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
So you may go home in the afternoon, may have split days and like that, like with morning and evenings and then afternoon off. It really just depends. Every day is so different. But then 3 days of the week, I have to do shifts for the gym. So they're 5-hour shifts each. So they're just kind of unpaid shifts. It's just so that I can run my PT business through the gym.
Yeah.
So I provide 15 hours and I just do like general kind of like maintenance for the gym. Like you're cleaning up, you're doing changing room checks, you're talking to people, you're helping put weights away, signing people up, giving people tours, which also can like promote my business as well at the same time, because if you're giving people tours, they might ask about personal training. So it's another way to kind of, enhance your business and kind of, already break that barrier of how do you get talking to people? If they come up to you and say, I want to tour the gym, you've already broken that barrier. You're already in conversation with them. And if you've got, it may take 10, 15 minutes to walk around the gym, you've got to fill that time. They may ask about yourself. You can then say, I'm a PT, I specialize in this. Have you ever had a PT before? Have you got any goals? Talk to them a bit about that, and then obviously, like if there's something specific they mention, like they might mention, I really want to train my, for example, my glutes. Girl comes in, they really want to train their glutes. You go in and when on the tour, you specifically then show them areas or exercises, show demonstrations. It's a bit of an area where you can kind of show off a bit of your knowledge. And it helps sales and it also helps the gym as well at the same time. So yeah, usually then I'll be home by, I don't know, like 6, 7 in the evening. And then do it all the next day. But then some days, if I haven't got an early morning client, then I might not go in till about 9 or 10.
Much more respectable.
Yeah, so it is up to me though when I book people in. So I do have that flexibility. All self-employed trainers will have that. But then the 15 hours a week I do for the gym, those are set in stone. I can just book people around that and things like that.
Okay, fair enough. So what would you say is like the most difficult part of being a PT?
I definitely say the starting up. It's the whole, getting your kind of, your feet stuck in, and I'm not sure that's not the term, is it? No, it's kind of just getting stuck in and just kind of pick up your first client. Like you go there, you start, you're doing 15 hours a week, but that's unpaid. So at the start, if you don't have any clients, you don't have any income. It's as simple as that. It might take you 1 month to pick up your client. It may take you 1 day. So then I'd definitely say, picking up your clients and things like that. But then also, like there's obviously positives to the job and there's negatives, and the negatives are the job security. Like for example, this summer, I lost 8 sessions per week just for people going on holiday. Some people moving away. 11 sessions.
Jeez.
And when they're paid at, 11 sessions, maybe 30, 35 pounds an hour, you're losing a substantial amount of income.
Yeah.
Would you then have to, carry on kind of making up? People may go on holiday, people may have a baby or, something like that. People may move away. So there's always the risk of, you can go up, but you can also go down pretty fast or just as fast. So, you have to be proactive all throughout the year with your marketing and with your just, your effort in terms of with your current clients, making sure they're doing the best they can, you're providing the best service you can, but also then making sure that you are still putting out there for, brand recognition. I've got my own brand now. I'm trying to get that out there, trying to make sure people know who I am, what I can offer and what I can do for them, how I can help them. So yeah, I definitely say the whole kind of balancing clients, picking up new clients and things like that. And especially at the start, the first 3 months, I picked up 2 clients pretty much. I just really struggled to get into the whole job of it. I struggled with the whole, everyone I spoke to, like for me, I'm very introverted. I like people to come up to talk to me first. I don't like to go up to someone and be like, hey, you're doing that wrong. Hire me. I know all this. That doesn't come naturally to me. So for me, I was more of a sit back and let people kind of come to me or do it off tours and things like that. So I didn't excel very fast. And then when New Year hit, I knew like this is when all the people are going to be coming in the gym, and I've got to up my game. I've got to do something here. I've got to show people a bit more of myself and put myself out of my comfort zone a bit more to excel into what I wanted to do. Really. So yeah, I'd say that answers it pretty extensively.
Yeah. So what about on the flip side? What's the most kind of rewarding parts of the job?
I definitely say when you get a client and they work hard. You tell they want it. They come in and they go, yeah, I want to lose weight, or I want to tone this part of my body, or something like that. And I'd probably say the best part of the job is when they come in, they put the work in, and then they see the results. And like a lot of the time they'll come around and go, oh my God, you've done this for me, it's so fantastic. When really it's like, no, I've done very little, to be honest. All I've done is kind of help you. I've just guided you to a place where you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
I've got one client now, absolute monster. She just comes in and she just bosses it. She just gets it done. There's no kind of ringing her up, dragging her out of bed every day sort of thing. She just turns up, does the work, sees the results, and that's it. And it's like, really, that's fantastic. And now it's gotten to the point now where she's coming to the gym and she is putting together her own workouts. Like I provide the workout plan, but then if she excels that so if I provide 3 programs for a week, so say come 3 times a week, she comes the 4th time, she'll put stuff together herself now, and she's got the confidence to do that. She can walk into that free weights area with all the grunting, sweaty men, put exercises together, and be confident to know that she's doing it right. And that is brilliant, just because you can see how far they've come in a short space of time, whether that's 1 month, 6 months, or a year. You see them kind of gain that confidence, and even to just have that autonomy to do things themselves. That's it's priceless.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have a good question actually. I just thought of when you mentioned the big sweaty men in the weights area. What's kind of the biggest thing that you see that is not necessarily wrong, but you'd want to correct in gyms? So whether it's like deadlift form or squat form or not putting the weight.
I could be really pedantic here and say people not putting their weights away. Is like a massive one. People just they come in, they pile 300 kilos on a leg press, and then walk away, and you just think, are you kidding me? Like if you can leg press that much, you can down put it back.
Yeah.
And then you sometimes like it. The whole reason that bothers me is just because if I've got a client who I'm trying to ease into the kind of weights, they want to go into more weights, I try and ease them in, and then they might be like, okay, I've got leg press on the thing today, go on the leg press, or I can't go on it because some dickhead's left 300 kilos on it. That just drives me insane. But in terms of like technique, I'd probably say deadlifts. You see it now and again. You see people like the classic rounding their back, lifting with their back or something like that. And that's not too bad. It just depends on your whole ego lifting kind of thing. Are you pushing weights massively beyond what you can do? Squats, most people can know how to squat quite easily now. You see it on Instagram on everyone's story, they're doing something, so it comes naturally. I'd probably say it's a tricky one, definitely. I'd probably this is going to sound really strange now, right? Walking on the treadmill. It's something you think, how can you fuck that up? Seriously. Right? It's something so basic. We've got these treadmills, right? And they've got massive handles on. So people stick the incline up to like 30%, which is bloody ridiculous. If anyone's ever tried putting a treadmill up past like 20, go ahead, try it. Hold on. And no, so they may stick the incline up to like 20% or something mad, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, when are you ever going to walk up something that bloody steep for a start off, right? Okay, fair enough. And the whole reason they do that is obviously it burns more calories. But then whilst they're doing that, they're holding onto these handles. So it's like, okay, so you're not actually burning more calories because you're holding onto the handles. And by holding onto the handles, you've single-handedly then disengaged your entire core. Like everything from abs, obliques, erector spinae, all the muscles which keep you working, you've disengaged. And it's something so basic, but honestly, I've got to say about 60% of people I see on treadmills are doing it, and it's like you may as well just stick stick it on flat and just walk, because you're probably going to burn more calories that way
Yeah.
than by doing it like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I've just had an inspiration. Number
Oh,
one thing I see people doing
yeah.
so wrong is
Yeah.
the rowing machine.
Oh, the rowing machine. Okay. Okay.
So the whole treadmill walking thing is one of those like pet peeves, and you just think, just think about it.
Yeah.
Next time you walk up a mountain, you don't have handles in front of you.
Yeah.
Suddenly, if you take your hands away, it instantly gets harder. If it's harder, it's burning more calories.
Yeah.
Simple as. That's just straight.
Yeah.
But I'd say rowing machine.
Okay.
I'd probably say just you don't really get taught how to use it. You just think, oh, you push with your legs and you pull with your arms. That's it. There's 100 different ways to do it, but it does get butchered quite badly sometimes.
Yeah. So what about do you ever get people, kind of clients, coming up to you and saying, oh, giving you loads of like fitness myths sort of thing, like, oh, I heard if you like women coming up to be like, oh, I heard if I deadlift I'll become like 77 kilos heavier and suddenly become a man, sort of thing?
Every damn day. Literally, now I'm not joking to you. Just some wacky things, and you see people do things and you think, you know what, I know exactly what you're doing, that, isn't it? Like there's the typical myth, like, if I grab the pull-up bar as wide as I possibly can, it means I'm going to grab it. It means I'm going to get the most width on my back. And you know what? It's just not true.
Yeah.
But no, you do get some of that. You do get girls who are quite afraid of weights. They think they're going to turn into Arnold after looking or breathing on a dumbbell.
Yeah.
And then you do get some guys like that who I'm trying to think of like a good example. One I had a few weeks ago was the whole like these fit teas and like all these detoxes.
My favorite.
Of course, they're banned off Instagram now.
Good.
That's for a bloody reason, because they're a load of shite.
Yeah.
And most people, the way they access them, and it's not just like one of my clients who had this. It was a lot of people I speak to in the gym. It's like, so who's selling you this stuff? Oh, it's like, it's some woman called Karen on Facebook. It's like, oh, okay. What's Karen's background? Oh, she works in local Asda or something, and she's obese herself. And it's like, okay, well, these products clearly fucking work then. And no, it's just like, some people just get their sources from like like they don't care about the source. They just think, oh, this product is going to make me lose fat, whether it's a detox tea or it's sticking a lump of butter in your coffee or something like that. There's so many trends which go around.
Yeah,
we don't see too much of that stuff in the gym, because obviously it's more like we don't see what people eat and stuff like that. And in terms of weights, there are myths about things like like legs. Girls only train legs and stuff like that. So you might see girls who only train their legs and they don't train their upper body. And it's like, okay, well, imbalances are a real thing. Like they will play a role in your whole development, your gait cycle, how you walk, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say it's a lot more outside of the gym in terms of myths like that. But you do see the occasional one, like like the wide grip pull up and things like that. You do get people trying to like they train their triceps every day because they want to get rid of the finger wings.
Yeah.
Or you see doing crunches and stuff like that, like constantly, and you just think, it's not the most effective.
Yeah.
But like, who am I to say it's not? At the end of the day. So
well, yeah. We can bust a few of these, because if I'm assuming people that are listening, if they are listening and some of these things do apply to them, I don't want them to feel bad about it. So if you are doing your triceps to get rid of your bingo wings, or you're squatting more than you necessarily would because you want to get rid of chub rub or whatever, then
chub rub. I'm sorry, that's just a brilliant word.
I can't claim that wasn't my saying, but it's so funny.
Yeah. So top myths, I'd say, are probably things like you said there. So like spot reduced fat. We've all got fat stored on our body, and typically one space more than the other. For example, my hips. I cannot get the fat off my hips unless I go really, really, really low body fat. Yeah. And it's not something I want to do, because I'm going to compromise my quality of life if I go, try and get super, super lean.
Yeah.
So, there's things like, oh yeah, they want to get fat off their stomach, or, like the back of their arms, or, the back of their legs, you might have cellulite, things like that.
Yeah.
Weight training, no matter how big you build the muscle in that area, it's not going to reduce the amount of fat in that area. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Otherwise we'd all be doing jaw exercises, trying to get this chiseled jaw.
Yeah.
How do I look like Channing Tatum anymore, sort of thing. But unfortunately, it isn't like that. Your body, you don't choose where the weight gets put on. When you eat a lot, you over Christmas you might put on like a stone over Christmas or something like that, or a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
You don't choose where that goes, and it's the same way when you lose it. You don't choose where it comes from, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would be brilliant if you could. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So what you can do though is you can build the muscle in that area, and if your diet is in check, and you're doing your steps, you're doing your cardio, things like that, you can lose fat. And where that comes from, you can't choose, but it will make the area a little more toned if you've got muscle underneath and a little less fat. So having that look of toned is going to be better. So like you built some muscle there, you've got a little bit less fat, you are going to have that. I don't really like the word toned, but you are going to have that sort of toned look.
Yeah. Another one I see actually is the use of supplements.
Okay, this is a big one.
Yeah. So people often use it's not as much recently, I haven't seen, but people maybe a couple of years ago, it was quite big. They use BCAAs a lot.
Of course, yep.
And I was like, I was looking at it, and because we're from a sports science background, I guess it enables us to understand what those words mean, and what they do. And I'm telling everyone now, as like a general public announcement, BCAAs, the only thing you need in BCAAs is the creatine. So just buy creatine. Like, there's no point, because it's amino acids, right? So all the other things, all the other essential amino acids, your body already produces in the perfect amount. You don't need extra of those. You might need extra creatine because it gives you more energy, but like, apart from that, in that case, just buy creatine. Don't buy 30 quid's worth of BCAAs, or you can buy 15 quid's worth of creatine, and that's all you need.
Yes, there is there is truth in what you're saying. However, not trying to disagree with you here. There are the whole thing about BCAAs. I don't recommend them. I don't take them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't anyway. I just think they're a bit of a scam. If I'm perfectly honest, they're just aimed at people who think that's the next thing I need. There are, I think it's 20 essential or basic kind of amino acids, roughly. I think it's 11 of those are non-essential and 9 are essential. I think it's this is going back to when I did the personal training course just over a year ago. Your body, I think there's a split between like 9 of them and 11 of them. 9 of them your body cannot produce by itself, so it has to get them through external sources. However, if you are eating chicken or beef or eggs or tofu I'm not 100% sure on tofu actually, but any kind of protein, there's a good chance you are getting it. Like the most, people think, right, I've got to eat 200 grams of protein a day, get my BCAAs in, get my creatine in, get it all timed perfectly, which is another thing we could talk about an hour about, which means absolutely nothing. And that will be the optimal amount. And sure, there is an optimal way, but the fact of the matter is, if you're eating or consuming like 80 plus grams of protein a day, you're probably getting all of the essential amino acids that you need. Amino acids are what protein is made of. You break protein down and it's broken down into its amino acids. So you do not need to supplement onto it unless there is one very specific thing. Unless you are going on an extremely low calorie diet and you are bringing everything back, including protein, and you are just trying to strip weight, essential amino acids, then they might help. Say for example, if you're If you're an athlete and you put on quite a bit of weight or something and you want to get some of it off, you don't care if it comes from muscle or fat because you're caring more about your weight. So something like a boxer or a wrestler.
Yeah.
If you want to strip down on your weight, and say you're having like a meal and it's like, say you're having like 2 boiled eggs and like some Snacker Jacks or I don't know, some kind of carb with it as well. I don't know, it's first thing into my head. Or banana, let's say. Literally just like a very low protein meal. Having BCAAs would then help with protein absorption and protein synthesis, but to a very small degree. I think for the price of BCAAs, they aren't. It doesn't really justify the results. I think really you should focus a bit more on the diet in general and things like sleep quality, stress levels, and other things like that before you start looking down the route of supplements. Because supplements, they may make you 1% better, but sleep and things like that may make you about 40, 60% better. Those are the main kind of 90% of everything. If you want to be 100% better, 90% of that is going to be a combination of your sleep, your training, your diet, your stress levels. Supplements are a tiny, tiny little thing. So sure, if you're an athlete trying to go for absolute best, you're trying to go for gold medals, sure, they might help you. But if you're a general public kind of just, trying to trim down, maybe build some muscle, you probably don't need to spend your money on it. And you probably just spend your money on something a bit more useful, like, more greens or more protein or something like that in terms of the food or, some sleep aids or something like that.
Yeah. So what would you say, me included in this actually, what would you say to someone that is listening right now and is thinking, you know what, I do need to lose a bit of weight?
Okay, so the first thing I'd do is just do it. Just go out and just start now. Like a lot of people kind of just get into this. There's a lot of motivation you can find on YouTube in terms of motivational videos and things, and they can really help you mentally. They helped me mentally when I was in a stage of like no motivation and things like that. But my main thing is just start now. There's this whole thing of I'll start on Monday because Monday is the start of a new week.
Yeah.
Today is the start of a new day. So why aren't you starting today? Like literally, it's just as simple as that. Just get started. So otherwise, you'll overthink it and you'll come up with excuses and justifications for why today isn't a good thing, or oh shit, I've got this on Tuesday, so I shouldn't start on Monday actually because that will really be a bummer.
Yeah.
Just start today. And the simple things you can start with is stop eating when you're full. If you eat a meal, eat until you are full. As soon as you feel you're full, even if you've got stuff left on your plate, stop. Most of the time, people bang their plates full of food and they just keep going until the plate is empty. Just stop when you're full, okay? Not to the point of you're sick or you're feeling bloated. Kind of, have a bit of kind of mindfulness about your eating and things like that. Are you eating in front of the TV? Are you watching something? Or are you sat there and literally just concentrating on your food? And another thing, in terms of exercise and stuff like that, just do anything. Literally just get up. Just get up and go for a walk or something like that. It doesn't have to be going for a gym. If you follow my Instagram account, I do put quite a lot of stuff up in terms of, just for anyone who's listening, a lot of stuff in terms of like, I don't really recommend gyms to a lot of people. Despite being a personal trainer, I'm not massive on, everyone needs to go to a gym. It's not like that. Like, we human evolution came from hunting and, farming and things like that. And, those people were strong and, like, you don't need to go to the gym and lift weights. You can just literally go for a walk. Go for a walk 3 times a week. And if that's something you've just implemented now, so you burn 500 calories in a week extra, which you hadn't already burned over the course of a year, that might mean you lose 3 stone if you haven't changed your diet as well.
Yeah, it's all long
term. Yeah, exactly. And it's mainly just habits. Like anyone can go on a 6-week shred and lose a shit ton of weight, but then what happens afterwards? It's all about the habits. It's all about the habits you develop. So literally 3 things to take away are stop eating when you're full, try and eat from natural kind of like sources and things like that, get your greens, get your meats, stuff like that. If you're veggie, just try and get your proteins in any way you can, and just move more. Literally, it doesn't have to be going for a run. It could literally just be going for a walk or sitting down a bit less. Literally just try and improve your kind of daily expenditure and increase it as much as you can.
Yeah.
On any day. And, exercise doesn't have to be, running around a pitch or going for a run in the cold dark. It can be anything. It can be joining a badminton club. It could be hoovering up. It could be, right, I'm going to do an hour's worth of housework today and I'm going to, really kind of get sweaty doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hoover the bloody floor quite aggressively. And I've done that on a weekend. I've been quite lazy. Hoovering gets you out of breath if you do it quite aggressively, especially if you've got a carpet, something like that. Literally just basic things like that. I think we discount how important the basics can be in terms of like just general movement. Because at the end of the day, you go to the gym, that's what you're doing. You're moving your body in a certain way. Every exercise, every sport is just a matter of moving your body.
Yeah.
So just move. Just get up off the sofa, go for a walk the dog. Like be around people who are active because they're going to encourage you to be more active. So it's more of a kind of lifestyle rather than 6 weeks time. I'm gonna run every day and do something like that. Just do it. Just start now and just go. Every single day you've got a choice of, are you going to get further to closer to your goals or further away? Are you going to act, like how you want to, like in kind of congruent with your goals?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have a complete binge and write the day off? And that's okay. But, just keep moving. Just keep getting your steps in, aim for 10,000 a day or something like that, or at least 8,000, and just keep going and just keep pushing yourself. Exercise doesn't have to be going to the gym, going for a run, doing something boring. If you want to go for a swim, do it. Go for a swim one day. Go badminton the next day. Do tennis. Do anything that you find fun. Do that, because that's what kids do. Kids just naturally get attracted to what's fun, and they can be running around for bloody 18 hours at a time. I feel like we've lost touch of what fun can be like, and especially if you exercise and things like that and you find it fun, you're more likely to go back. If it's a run at 5 a.m, the pissing rain, you're not going to want to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of sums it up really.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good. That's very motivational. I loved it. Yeah, I'm going to go and throw out my chocolate bars now.
No, I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that. Oh man.
Gotcha.
I think that's actually quite an important thing I'd like to discuss on there as well. Is the whole thing of mentality. You've done sports psychology, all about that as well, Matt. So it's more of I see it quite a lot. People putting up posts on Instagram saying, "Oh, I need to work off my dinner from last night because I went out or something." No, you bloody don't. You did yesterday what you wanted, and that's fine. That was yesterday. Today, you just get back on track. It doesn't mean you have to compensate. It doesn't mean you were like, "Oh, yeah, double my amount of calories yesterday, so I won't eat today." That's. I would not recommend that, because eating disorders and things like that, they are a very real thing, and if people aren't careful, they can lead towards disordered eating, in terms of like feeling guilty for what they eat, and then like if you, I have a bit of a saying when someone says like, "Oh, I feel guilty for eating that," like you shouldn't feel guilty for eating anything unless you stole it, really. Good. I think I took that from Jordan Syatt on Instagram. If anyone doesn't follow him, honestly do it. He's very motivational, and the things he posts, he's just very real, very kind of real talk. Also got Instagram and on YouTube, sorry. And so things around like guilt of eating and stuff, some people just kind of need to give themselves a bit of a break and just need to be like, yeah, I ate it because I felt like I wanted a Mars bar, so I ate it, and that's fine. That's not going to completely derail your progress. Just don't fail twice. Just you've had a Mars bar, okay, sure. Next meal is just going to be something better. I'm just going to get straight back on track, and that is it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it?
Well, that's it. Sometimes people just think, "Oh, I'm gonna, now just give up the whole day because I've had one bad meal," and then that's when like you can really derail your progress. So
yeah. Okay. Well, what would you say is like the some of the goals for you personally in the whole? I mean, actually, I'll save that question. I've got a question about vegans, right?
Go on.
Because you mentioned vegetarians there, and there's been a bit of a rise of veganism.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, what are your thoughts on veganism? And then kind of, have you seen it influence people that you train?
Yes. So first of all, the rise of veganism is huge, and I think it's quite a good idea in terms of for the planet. I'm
Yeah.
all for it. I think like we as humans, we have shown we don't need technically animals to survive in terms of like the products that we get from them. We don't need them. However, I do think veganism it's it's one of those one size does not fit all. For some people, becoming a vegan is just not an option. It's just not like there are foods which they rely on and they just won't be able to give up and things like that. So I do think personally, veganism is going to be like everyone is pretty much going to be vegan in about 50 years time.
Yeah.
I think it's going towards that way, and especially because the quality of some of the foods, the vegan foods which are coming out now, like tofu and like corn stuff and stuff like that, is some of it, is barely noticeable
Yeah.
difference. I've got a friend who's very passionate about veganism. He studies anthropology in university, and his kind of research basis is all around veganism and kind of the global kind of diversity of it and how it's helping the world as well.
Yeah.
And the whole kind of recent come up of it. And he's gone vegan, and I've spoken to him extensively about what it's like and stuff like that. And when he came to stay with me a few weeks ago, I kind of just saw what he ate, and we went for like a vegan meal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And really, like it, like we went to this place called Frost Burgers in Liverpool. I know it's a YouTuber who's created it, like it's her kind of own place. I know her surname's Frost. I don't know it exactly, but and we had vegan burgers, and like to be honest, I would eat them all the time. They were fine. They were like there was nothing. I wasn't sat there thinking, Christ, I need to go eat a cow. Like it was fine. So I think veganism is a massive topic. I think it's a good idea. However, obviously there are some drawbacks. It depends on your. I think some people look at veganism and think, you cut meat out. Wow, you must lose so much weight. And it's like, veganism, weight loss, two completely different things. Please don't confuse the two. Weight loss, it's all about calories in, calories out. Veganism, it doesn't matter where the calories came from. If they came from beef or tofu, it doesn't matter. Like I think some people who I've seen, like they go vegetarian or vegan, and they pretty much just cut all meat products out, but then don't replace it with anything. So they think, right, I can't eat that, can't eat that, can't eat that, and what's left? A bowl of Cheerios. Okay, well, I'm having Cheerios 3 times a day. And I know someone who did that. And it was just a matter of, I don't really know what else to eat, so this is it. So I think, like it's very good to take things out of your diet, but you also need to then put things in its replacement.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're just taking things out, you're going to be left with nothing. And if you go vegan, some things can be very hard to get substitutes in, and you'd be quite surprised how many products have meat or milk or egg or something like that, and you've got to check every single food label. For some people, they just don't have the time. You try and tell a doctor who works 80 hours a week to go vegan, and to when they go do their food shopping in a bloody hurry to check every single label, they're gonna just give you the middle finger. Like to some people, it's just not practical. However, I do think it's a good idea for the future. But I do like the whole flexitarian thing, or like maybe vegetarian and still have like some milk and products and stuff like that, because it is quite.
I like that.
Well, yeah, like why be so rigid? Why be like, okay, I'm gonna do that and be completely rigid with it? Because you are gonna kind of find yourself in situations where it's gonna be quite hard. You might go to like Miller and Carter or something like that and think, there's steaks here and they look flipping amazing. Yeah. And it's like, well, having one steak once a year or something is really not going to do too much bad.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a German girl who was fiercely vegetarian.
Fiercely
vegetarian, and then she got drunk and had chicken nuggets at McDonald's. It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed in my life. It was
the mental demise of her. Wow.
It was so funny. But yeah, I mean, I think the big overarching thing with diets is kind of there's lots of different fads, and veganism isn't a fad. It's more a kind of a life choice.
Exactly, it's a complete life change. If you
Yeah,
think of food, you've eaten 3-4 meals a day every single day for your entire life. Like, it is a massive thing to change.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
changing your diet is not something that's, oh, I'm just going to eat this instead of that. It is a big change, and mentally you're going to have a bit of a reaction to what you do. If you eat salads all day every day for 3 days, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be smiling on day 4. Like, you've got to consider mentally how you're going to be as well.
yeah,
So if you're restricting yourself, you are going to try and reward yourself and binge at the end. So, like, there needs to be balance. People need to stop being so hard on themselves and saying, like, right, I'm going to do this. And it's like, why don't we just take one step at a time, and look at what's your relationship with food like? Do you rely on food? Do you eat food when you go to, when you sit down in the evenings and you watch TV? That might be a trigger for, oh, I need to nibble on something.
yeah.
Like, when was the last time you went to the cinema and didn't buy popcorn? Like, for me, never. I buy popcorn every single time.
Yeah.
And there's some people, food is like, it's an emotional support. They may get really mad, really angry, and suddenly it's like, damn, I need some chocolate now, quick. So, food, everyone has a different relationship with food. So, not like one size fit all diet is not going to work, because everyone is so different in terms of their relationship with it, what they like, and ultimately how they view it. So I think fad diets and veganism and things like that. Veganism is a way of life. It's kind of like saying, "Oh, I'm going to go keto." So for those of you who don't know what keto is pretty much just when you take all carbohydrates out of your diet, including fruits and everything like that, and you try to aim for like less than 50 grams a day. So most of your food is like fish, eggs, bacon, like nuts, high fat stuff, avocado, but no carbs, so no bread, pasta, no bananas, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of similar, because it's such a massive life change. But these things can't be taken lightly. Like, they are a massive change, and they are going to affect your day-to-day life, how you feel, your energy levels, things like that. But to more apply it to a weight loss or kind of sport kind of specific thing now, veganism is fine. Like, if you're a vegan and you go to the gym, you're not really going to have, it's not going to kind of hold you back too much.
Yeah.
Obviously there's the whole thing of, oh, well, if you're vegan, how do you get protein? And it's like, okay, yeah, it is a bit of a tricky area, because you're not getting meat, and no matter how much tofu or corn you eat, those sources aren't as good as meat. Simple as.
Yeah.
They are high in protein, but they're not as high. You have 100 grams of turkey, and it might have 30 grams of protein. You have 100 grams of chickpeas, it might have 16. That 14-gram difference is going to matter.
Yeah.
So kind of, like, if you go in the gym, you are a vegan, and you are consciously putting protein into your diet, you're looking at every meal and thinking, right, I'm going to put some chickpeas with this one, I'm going to put some tofu with that one, I'm going to have some corn sausages for dinner, and you're trying to get protein in different ways. You're having maybe like a protein shake or something, or like porridge or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then sure, you can do it, and you will kind of get similar, if not the same, results in a way. However, maybe if you are vegan and things like that, and you do struggle with diet, BCAAs, the only sort of time I would recommend them.
Yeah.
They would stand a bit more importance if you are a vegan. They might be worth some value, especially if you struggle to get in protein sources. So say you're waking up and you're just having porridge, and then for dinner you're having I don't know, like a vegan cheese sandwich or something.
Yeah.
And and for dinner you're just having some pasta. There's no protein in that. So BCAAs would be useful.
Yeah.
Then, in that situation where you're getting very limited protein, that's the only kind of thing I would help. I did have a client a few months ago, and she struggled to see results and things. She wasn't putting on muscle as fast as she wanted to. She was a vegetarian. She avoided any kind of eggs or anything like that, any kind of meat. So we kind of looked more into the diet and stuff, and there was a few bits of protein here and there. And one of the things I said is, BCAAs might actually be useful, and it's something that you can just drink during your workout, and it might help in terms of, it might make a few kind of, even if it helps you 5%, add 5% more kind of results onto you. That's still going to be big. So yeah, you can still get very similar results in the gym and outside the gym from being vegan. That's totally fine, as long as you put some conscious effort into learning about how you can supplement the things you've taken out and replace them with something else.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's move away from dieting for a minute. I know you mentioned earlier very briefly about programming and reading.
Okay.
And I had a conversation. The episode will be posted once this is posted. It's a bit of a weird situation because I haven't posted it yet, but it will be.
Okay.
And it's with another sports psychologist, and he's talking about he does a lot of reading into the up to date literature and things like that. Are you along that kind of similar sort of vein? Are you doing as much reading as you can to try and improve your?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to. It is hard to try and get that into it. Especially now because I don't think I've mentioned this. I have gone back to university, and
oh really?
I have. Yeah, funny enough.
Hey.
I haven't thrown it out on it. Like social media massively.
Yeah.
So September I started a master's in Liverpool John Moores, part-time alongside personal training.
Yeah.
And it's in counselling and psychotherapy.
Oh wow.
So it's completely different to personal training.
Yeah.
And that's just for the sake of personal training. For me, it's not a long, I don't see myself doing it until I'm 70. It is good, but for me, it's just kind of like it's going to help me kind of help other people for the next 5 years, and it's going to help me financially where I want to be in the next couple of years, and just for the whole freedom of it. And then my long-term plan is to go into counselling and things. But yeah, in terms of reading and things like that, like obviously a lot of my reading now is based on the whole kind of counselling process, and around human psychology, stuff like that. But there is still that part of me instilled from Hans and from my research project and things like that, which does really enjoy reading about biomechanics and physiology and all these kind of up and coming new exercises, and especially a lot from like kind of the physio sort of world. I feel like a lot of overlap in personal training is from physiotherapists, kinesthesiologists, chiropractors, everything like that. Because everyone that comes into the gym, absolutely everyone, has some kind of injury or some kind of injury history or hospitalization or something like that. And you may get one person who just they've had a shoulder injury about 5 years ago, or you may have someone who comes in and they've torn their ACL, they've got lower back pain, they've previously ruptured their Achilles, they get neck pain quite frequently, and they broke their arm a year ago. And it's like, okay, so we can work your fingers because that's all you've got left. And I've had a few people like that, and they've been very kind of limited in what they can do, and it is a challenge, but it's what I like as well. So yeah, it's important to stay up to date in terms of what certain people can do, and especially then from a rehab thing. If someone comes in and they've tore their ACL a couple of years ago, they may have skipped some of their rehab, which I've currently got a client who's done that now, actually, funny enough. He said, like, oh yeah, I didn't really do a lot of my rehab. I just kind of, like they said, go home and do this. Didn't really do it. So now for me, it's like, okay, you want to lose weight, you want to gain strength. But I'm still very cautious of the fact of he's had surgery. That's a very invasive procedure to repair his knee. I've now got to be very careful of the exercises which I make him do, the kind of biomechanical implications of that. And also include then some rehab stuff in there whilst I'm doing it. So I want to strengthen him. I want to make sure he's losing weight. He's obviously being active for his heart health and things like that. He's getting his cardio in and stuff like that. But also at the same time, I do, need to put a bit of a rehab plan in at the same time. So there is a lot of crossover between my work as a personal trainer and physical therapy in terms of some of the exercises may be corrective. Some of them may be just to get people to burn calories, and some maybe just because people enjoy it. Everyone's got their own motivation. But that's where I will do my assessment and kind of figure out, okay, you would benefit from doing some more of this exercise. So then I do that. Some people, they can't bend very well, or they may have really tight hamstrings, or what seems to be tight hamstrings. So then we can supplement some stuff alongside that and include it in the warm up, so that the whole session goes smoothly and they're not limited by it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I guess I have like personal experience with that because obviously I didn't have not an ACL, but my meniscus. I had surgery on that.
Yeah, I saw
Like,
actually. Yeah,
yeah, and
and I know
it's
Richard
amazing.
had ACL issues, didn't he?
Yeah,
He tore his
yeah,
ACL, so
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He's back playing football properly now. He's an animal once again.
of
Uh,
course.
yeah, because he has the drive, unreal amount of motivation.
He just loves his football, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I
yeah, he
met
does.
up with him actually last year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he came to my gym and we went for lunch and things, and
oh sick.
we've got similar mindsets, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's nice.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. He had ACL surgery. He got back really well. And it took him. Yeah, I saw him in the gym pretty much every day. He was fantastic at getting back to it. And on the flip side of that, was a guy who didn't play that much, and he tore his ACL. He had surgery, and he didn't do any rehab afterwards. Uh,
Oof.
and his knee was so weak. He was like, I could play football again, but I haven't done any rehab on my knee, so I'd probably just snap it again. And I was like, Christ. And it's the same thing for me. I tore my meniscus, and
Mhm.
it wasn't it was keyhole surgery. ACL surgery is quite a big thing.
Mhm.
Whereas meniscus surgery is keyhole surgery. They do one of them every day. Like it's not a big thing.
Yeah, it's a lot more kind of readily accessible to
Yeah, yeah,
access your meniscus rather than get through the back of the knee accessing the ACL.
yeah, exactly. And then I started the recovery, the rehab, and then I kind of slacked on it because I was like, oh, my knee feels fine. It'll get better soon. And then I'll get into the gym. And it was like that thing, I'll do it tomorrow sort of thing, like you mentioned. I never actually got around to it.
Hmm.
Um, and then I've started running recently, which I've said on like every single podcast episode since I started running. Uh, it's becoming a trend. I've started running.
Just got to throw that in there.
Yeah. By the way, I've started running. Uh,
Oh, you didn't say that. You didn't say that. It's like, hi,
yeah,
my name's Declan. I'm a vegan.
shock,
Like, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
shock horror. Hi, I'm Nat. This is the Curiosity Complex, and I've started running. Um,
I just put it before the curiosity part, before your name. Hi, I started running. My name's Nat.
Can you imagine? Oh,
Oh,
dear.
there's people out there. There's people out
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. I'm apparently one of them. So yeah, I've started running, and my knees. I mean, both of my knees are messed up. I had surgery on my left one, and my right one is just kind of floating about. Don't know what's going on there. And I
I
was,
feel like that's the thing, though. As soon as you get to the age of 20,
yeah,
it's like there's no longer left and right. There's good and bad. You know,
yeah.
this is my good knee. This is my bad knee.
This is
Or
my
this
good.
is my bad knee. This is my
I'm on currently
okay knee.
good knee and an unknown knee. It might be good. It might be bad. Who knows? And I've actually seen like a genuine improvement in the kind of the reduction of pain in my knees. So my knees would, if I like sitting cross-legged for me is really difficult.
Hmm.
It really hurts, and you'll feel my knees click, and I can feel things moving in there that shouldn't be doing that. And it
Right.
can get quite painful once I stand up again. And ever since I started running, my knees have actually had like such a significantly better, like there's more strength there,
Hmm.
and the kind of, I guess it's a case of the muscles have got stronger, therefore the pain is less.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really important to not understate the importance of rehabbing. If you have an injury, if you're listening now and you have an injury that you haven't rehabbed or aren't really doing enough with, it does help so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things like most people just think, oh yeah, like you said, you'll do it tomorrow. And everyone thinks that, even I think that, I still push myself, my boundaries. I know I've got a few lingering kind of injuries, which I'm still kind of coming back from. But then you still think, I want to go in the gym today and I want to do something else. Like I don't want to have to do my rehab sort of thing. But it is one
Yeah,
of those things where, if you don't do it, you risk going back to stage one. You risk delaying yourself a year
yeah,
or something like that. If you're talking serious kind of, you've ruptured your Achilles, we're talking serious, like you lose 18 months of your life
yeah,
sort of thing. Like this is a debilitating thing. And like whether it's keyhole surgery in your meniscus or ruptured Achilles, or you just impingement in your shoulder, it's important to sort it out sooner rather than later,
yeah,
because it's a lot easier to treat and it'll have a lot less effect on your life. And probably the rehab will be easier when you try and do it straight off the bat, rather than delaying it 6 months and then thinking, "Oh, I should probably do that, shouldn't I? Because I can't actually move my knee that way anymore." there is a limited time
Yeah.
after certain surgeries where you have a bit of a window to rehab and to kind of get the strength going.
Yeah.
There are some people, even like NFL players now, like I swear, like they are the kind of, like the top of the chain in terms of ACL reconstruction.
100%. Yeah.
Darren Sproles, for the Eagles, I saw within 4 months he was back running and back practicing almost.
That's the crazy thing. Like
4 or 5 months, I think it was. And
Patrick Mahomes dislocated his kneecap, and then his coach said, "Oh yeah, he'll be back in a couple of weeks." Like, are you joking?
3 weeks? Really?
Yeah.
Like I've had a like a broken finger for longer than 3 weeks. Or like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But sports medicine is a growing area, and like if these people, these orthopedic surgeons, these physical therapists, they're telling you to do something, you bloody do it. Like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And like it'll save you a lot of time by doing it now rather than waiting and doing it later.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Well, let's finish up with a question of. Well, I've got 2 questions. First one is, what would you say to someone? What advice could you give to someone that's thinking about becoming a personal trainer, or is just starting up, that type of person?
I'd figured that was going to come up at some point.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought what the question's going to be, and I definitely say this is one that I think a lot of people could benefit from.
Yeah.
If you want to be a personal trainer, if you are, say, for example, you just thought, oh, that looks like a decent job, I could do that. Are you passionate about it? Like, do you really, really want to do it? Like, for me, deciding what career to do is a very kind of complex thing. Like I'm someone who's changed their mind 20 million different times. And something which, funny enough, my counselor said to me and helped me decide is, what would you do if you couldn't fail? And I just thought, that's a good one. What job would I do if I couldn't fail?
Yeah.
What would you do? And obviously, anyone who's been into self-development just thinks, I'm going to run the bloody world. I'm going to take over Trump.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick Boris out. Like, not getting into politics here.
But I won't be. I won't help.
Okay. No, but I'd say like really kind of weigh up your options. I'd say be smart with who you choose to go to as your course. Courses for personal training can range between £800 and about £3,000.
Wow.
I went with a company called Train Fitness. I can recommend them. They were very good. They were very thorough. The tutor was very good. However, they were on the more pricey side. That I know that they range their personal training prices usually about 2,700. The course was.
Yeah.
I managed to get mine on Black Friday, which it will be next November. So if you are debating it, I got it on Black Friday and it was 50% off. So I got it 1,300. Nice. And I included in that, you get things like you get the level 2, you get level 3, which is personal training, which every personal trainer needs. You cannot, even if you've got a degree, they don't care. You've got to have that level 3 in personal training in order to be a personal trainer. In a gym, for example, that is.
Yeah.
You can also get things like spin qualifications and boxing and circuit training and stuff like that. I would recommend, if they are included in the course as well, I would recommend doing them because they can be very useful. So yeah, if you are thinking about doing it, definitely do your research. Talk to personal trainers. Like, have you ever had one? Talk to ones in your gym. They're usually very talkative and things like that, and very friendly. Yeah. Do talk to them and try and find out what their experience is. But then don't expect to just qualify the course and walk straight into a £2,000 a month job. It's not like that. Sure, personal training can pay between, like, local ones in little towns can charge like £15 an hour. Where I am in the city, if you saw a personal trainer for £45 an hour, it's not like that big of a deal. Yeah. Like, I charge £35 an hour, and like some people think, wow, that's crazy. National wage is like £8 an hour, but it's like I won't do 40 hours a week of personal training. Then I might do like 10 or 20 maximum sort of thing. You can do like 30 if you're like really well established and things like that, and that's fine. But most likely you are not going to be doing that sort of hours. So yeah, sure, become a personal trainer. The first year is going to suck. I'm going to say that just straight off the bat now. It is going to suck because there are a lot of things you've got to sort out. You've got to sort out your process of how do you get clients? what sort of clients do you want? Do you want females who want to build a big bum, or do you want guys who want to put on muscle? Do you want people who want to lose weight? And choose a few. Choose what your specialty is, and just kind of, build from there. At the start, you're not going to be able to say, sorry, you're a man, I'm going to train females.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to, if you've got no clients and you've just started a job, you've got no money, so there's no money coming in. So you have to take whatever clients you can get at the start.
Yeah.
Then when you get more established, you can start kind of, like attracting more of the clients who you want. So I would recommend becoming a personal trainer if you are passionate about fitness and passionate about helping people. Absolutely. But I would be very cautious of the whole financial start bit for the start, because most people, when they become personal trainers, I think I saw a statistic, most people, if they quit, it's within their first year, because it can be very difficult.
Yeah.
And especially because if like when I first started at JD, where I am now, I was going around talking to people and stuff like that, and I was talking to people and they'd be like, oh, I've already had a personal trainer, or I already trained with someone else. All these PTs who you work with are already well established, and you've got to get up to their level fast.
Yeah.
And that kind of way I described it is, I felt like a small fish in a big pond full of sharks. Like you will feel like that, but then it can change so drastically, so quickly. You could just bring on one person, give them a tour, they go, I want a personal trainer, and I'd be like, okay, great. How many times a week? 3 times a week, £30 a time. Okay, great. Suddenly, you're on your way. So yeah, my advice to anyone who wants to do it is go get a course, reputable, intensive if you can. You can get qualified in as little as like 4 or 5 weeks. Just get it done, and then go out there and see what you can do. See what you can do with it and stuff like that as well. There are some paid positions in things like Nuffield and the NHS. But yeah, go out there, try and help as many people as you can, start as many conversations in the gym as you can, do some interesting exercises so that people see you and think, oh, what's that? Like nothing, make sure it's, legit exercise and you're not hanging from your head, something wacky, like this, you want to show people that you know how much you've got to show off your skills. And you've got to be comfortable introducing yourself to strangers, talking to people. If you can do that, if you can go up to other people, you can talk to them, you can flow a conversation, go ahead, do it. Get the little things out of the way as soon as you can. Things like PARQ forms, paperwork, the whole process of taking someone on. Because if you sit there in a consultation with them and they go, what happens now? And you go, shit, I don't know. I guess we start training. When are you free? Like, do you want to do an assessment with someone first? Do you want to do their measurements? Are you going to do that at the start? Are you going to do that at the end? Are you going to include what measurements are you do? Are you going to do body fat? You can do height, stuff like that. Get the early process sorted. Get your pricing structure sorted. Are you going to do monthly payments, or are you going to do per session? You're going to do block of 10 sessions for this much for £300 or £350 or something like that.
Yeah.
Get it sorted. Get it in stone. But be flexible. Some people will come up to you and say, I want half an hour session every 2 weeks. And it's like, okay, well, I've got to, change my pricing structure a bit here. Don't be afraid to change it, but do get yourself established as fast as you can. And as soon as you get 1-2 clients, get referrals, get them talking to people, get people to leave you reviews, Google businesses, stuff like that. You can register yourself to Google Business. And the first week that you do, you will then be top of the search list. So if someone typed in personal trainer Liverpool and you've just done you've just signed up, you will be the top for the first week. And then obviously how many more reviews you get after that and things will increase how high up you are on the scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that's a really long-winded answer to it, but yeah, just make sure it's right for you, because you don't want to go out and spend £3,000 on a course, invest 6 weeks of your time, go into a gym for 2 months and then realize, I don't really like it. You can do a part-time job by the side. That's fine. I know someone who still does that, and he's been PTing a year. He's still got a part-time job, and he makes it work. Cool. So yeah, just go for it. Get the little things sorted out of the way. Build relationships with people. Help people in the gym who need it. And just go from there. And just don't be afraid to try something new. Be authentic. Don't try and be like everyone else. And if you are struggling as a PT, like I know other PTs do mentorship sort of thing. So you can go to I know a few PTs where there was one PT and he had two personal trainers working under him. And there would be like obviously like payment sort of things, like they would take a cut or something. But then he would tell them everything he knew. He would oversee the whole process of personal training, and he'd kind of, just give them guidance. And if you are someone who would really benefit from that, that can be a great way to kind of kickstart your career. I paid for a few sessions with a personal trainer just for a bit of mentorship of what do I do in this sort of situation? Like I've got this client, he's got this condition. What can I do to help him and stuff like that? Don't stop learning. Just keep going. If there's something you don't know how to do, learn how to do it. At the start, my first client who came to me said he wanted to do boxing. He wanted to do pad work. I did not do pad work. I didn't have a clue. So I went to my manager and I said, should I pass him on to someone else, another personal trainer who does? And he said, you don't know how to do pads? Learn. Like, go away and learn.
Yeah.
So I had like 3 days to go and learn pads. And I did it. I had another personal trainer who I was friends with. He helped show me pads. I said to the client, look, I'm new to doing this whole pad thing. I'm learning as we go along. And he said, yeah, that's fine. And if I hadn't had that client, I probably would have given up, because I've still got him now, and he's my most consistent fella. He just comes every session. He just turns up, no messing.
Yeah.
Just pays every month, 3 times a week, and just gets it done. So if you don't know how to learn something, learn. Just do it. Honestly, you can't have too many skills.
Yeah. That's great advice. That's great advice. Yeah. All right. Well, final question for you then.
Go on, mate.
What is you've already mentioned it? You've just done. You've got you're doing the masters. What's the future for you?
Well, my masters is a part-time masters. It's 3 years long. But however, I have the option to drop out after year 2.
Yeah.
And after year 2, you can drop out as a qualified counsellor. And you can just kind of skip the 3rd year, which is all just dissertation. So you won't qualify over masters, you'll qualify over postgraduate diploma.
Yeah.
But you'll be level 7 counsellor.
Okay, cool.
So I know you can go up in terms of like level 1, level 2, level 3, and you have to be level 4 to counsel. And then you can do like level 5, and then level 6 is like the degree and like masters and stuff like that. So my plan, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to go for the 3rd year, the dissertation. It all depends on on my situation at the time. I am still trying to juggle full-time work, part-time education, and my life, So so for me, it's just more of a personal trainer is a thing which is getting me by for the next kind of 3-4 years until I can get into a paid and established counselling job or career, more like. It's like I wouldn't mind working for like a university as a counsellor or something like that, or even starting my own practice. Something along those lines, because there is, and there's things I can take from the business side of personal training and apply to the business side of counselling. Setting up my own service, payment schedules, stuff like that. Again, on personal training, that sort of stuff, that business kind of development, that transfers over to any kind of, becoming a sole trader or, starting your own company.
Yeah.
So for me, it's probably, do 2-3 years of counselling, do my personal training along the side, and then eventually come off personal training, come out of it. I might still have 1 or 2 clients now and again, depends on what I can do with the gym. But then eventually go into counselling and go from there. Really, that's where I want to go. But I'm not limiting myself to counselling per se, just because for me, like, I'm very indecisive about career and what I want to do, and I know that the skills that I'm going to develop in this masters, like active listening skills, being able to counsel people who are in emotional distress. There's a lot of jobs which would. To be honest, there's more jobs than not you can think of. Like, when is active listening ever a bad thing? Like, when is it not going to go for you? If you sit in any interview and say, I'm a qualified and registered counsellor, the instantly you're going to be like, oh, wow, well, that could definitely help. I'm pretty sure that could help any job you go for.
Yeah, 100%.
So for me, it was just a matter of like, what skills have I got? Personal training is right. You have to be quite open to talking to people. You have to be quite extroverted and stuff like that. I'm not. So for me, it's not really a long-term thing. It's just more of it's what I can do right now, and I'm good at it, and I like it, and it gets me by.
Yeah.
However, my passion is just going to be helping people with, minor mental health conditions, and working from there. Really, I've got a lot of life goals. Like I want to own my own house, I want to get into property development, stuff like that. And I'd like to get into investing and things like that. So, and obviously, there's the whole settle down, have a family, all that jazz, which comes later.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking for the career which will get me there, and hopefully counselling or something along those lines is going to be that one.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, good luck with all of that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope it goes well with the masters, etc. I'm sure we'll keep in contact anyway. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on to talk to me. It was a really, really, really great chat. I had a lot of fun.
Yes, me too, mate. Me too. It's brilliant. I've listened to your podcast so far, and they've been funny and they've been insightful, and it's been a privilege to be on there, mate.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Like I say, it's a pleasure to have you on. So for everyone listening, if you got any shout outs, do you want to plug your Instagram and stuff like
that? So if you want to follow my Instagram, I run under a business, and that is my personal business which I created, and that is it's called Future You. So it's all about the future of you. So it's _future and then _you. You can find me on Instagram. I'm also on things like LinkedIn and stuff like that. If you do need to if you need any kind of fitness advice or anything like that, then don't be afraid to just send me a message. I like to put up some kind of inspirational or kind of educational content. So if you do have anything which questions about anything, then feel free to get in contact. And shout out to you, Nat, for bringing me on.
Oh, cheers, mate. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, I'll let you know when this episode's being posted, etc., etc.
Okay.
And I'll keep you up to date with everything. But for now, thanks everyone for listening. I'll see you all in the future.